Hello everyone and welcome to a new video of Firepower Threat Defense series. So in this video, we are gonna look at the health section of FMC. So let's jump on to the FMC. This is our FMC and I'm on the overview page. In order to go to the health options, you have to click on the sisters option and then under that you have a section for the health options which are present here. So there are several options: monitor, policy, events, exclude and monitor alerts. So we are going to see the policy section today. Okay. If I click on the policy here, it loads the list of health policies which are present on the Firewall Management Center. These health policies are applied to FMC or the managed FTDs, which are managed via this FMC. And these policies define what is monitored on those boxes. Okay. So you see there is one health policy already present named as initial health policy. Okay. You can create a new health policy. Let's click on create policy. Let's create a new health policy. Let's see, I'm going to create this policy for the routed FTD. So let's name it routed FTD health policy. Okay. You need to select a base policy. So I select initial health policy as my base policy, and then that's it. I'll save the values. Now, this policy has now been created. Okay. Now, how do we define what is to be monitored and what is not? Just edit this health policy, and here you have a list of health modules. Okay. All of these are health modules which are listed here, and you can toggle this button on and off in order to monitor the specific things. So I have created this policy for the monitoring of FTD device. You see, there are in the health modules, there are certain things which are only relevant to Firewall Management Center. So if I have created this policy for our FTD, I can toggle off that options. Let's toggle off the options which belong to FMC. Appliance heartbeat, I'll toggle it off. This is for Firewall Management Center. Firewall threat defense, chassis environment status, I can turn it off because my chassis is not physical, it is virtual. Let's turn it off. File system integrity check, keep it on. Firewall threat defense platform faults, this is right now off because my firewall is virtual. Okay. Hardware alarms, I don't need it because mine is virtual. Power supply, I don't need it because mine is virtual. Again, do I want to monitor CPU? Yes, monitor the CPUs. It is for both Firewall Management Center as well as Firewall Threat Defense. You can, monitor the CPU data. You can change the threshold for the warning and the critical alerts here. Now, in order to monitor data plane statistics, let's look at the options which are for the firewall threat defense. These are all are for the firewall threat defense. You can toggle the options on and off as per your need. Now, in terms of database size, I'm not going to apply this policy to FTD. So I'll just turn on the FMC stuff. This is again FMC stuff. This is again FMC stuff. In terms of deployment, firewall threat defense on, discovery on. This is for the user agent status for the FMC. I don't need it. I'll turn it off. And this is also for the FMC. I'll turn it off. Now, this is for both. I'm going to keep it checked on. And this one as well. Event monitor. I'm going to turn it off. Health monitoring for FMC. Uh, Event backlog status. This is for FMC only. I'm going to turn it off. High availability. My firewall is not in HA. No meaning of monitoring it. Also, this is a FMC. This one is a FMC only stuff. So I'll just turn it off as well. Integration. I don't have any integration. I'll not monitor this because I'm not going to apply this policy again to the FMC. So let's turn on off all the FMC related stuff. Okay, this is for FTD on, FMC off, FMC off. I'll keep this one on, FMC and FTD on, and do. Network card and interface, inline link mismatch alarms. That's fine. I'll keep it on here, and then critical processes on this. I'll just turn it off. This is FMC only, FMC only off, FMC only off, and this is how you can you you can decide what you want to monitor from the FMC or on the FMC if you are going to apply this policy to the FMC as well. And let's see what else is remaining. This one and this one as well. VPN statistics, VPN internal status, monitor VP internal status. That's I'm not going to apply to FMC. So these are all the health module you can, you know, mo which really help you to monitor the stuff from your devices. Okay. Now there is one more button, select all. If I check this, it will select all the options. If I uncheck this, it will deselect all the options afterwards. Okay. So now let's save our changes. I just want to save so that all of my efforts of unchecking and checking the relevant features should not get wasted. Other than that, there is a runtime interval thing for the policy. So it is configured by default. Every 5 minutes, health modules will be run and data will be collected for every 1 minute interval. Okay, that's what this says. Now, let's assign our policy to a FTD. I'll go to policy assignments and deploy. I'll select my firewall where I want to apply this policy, which is routed FTD. I'll hit the apply button. Okay, I have a now you see a task has been triggered. If I see in the tasks, apply routed FTD health policy to routed FTD, health policy applied successfully. Okay, policy has been applied successfully. Now let's wait for a minute and I'll go back to health in the monitor section. And but after that I'll come back to the policy section and see it has now been applied to the one of the appliance. And if you have selected that appliance in the assignments and you have made some changes and then you want to apply, then here is also a button which you can click in order to deploy the health policy. Okay, now now we will talk about compare policies option in here. This is again a not very much used, but it's a good option to know about. Okay, so compare against. So compare against, you can select. Would you like to compare against the current applied policy to something? Then you select current configuration. If you want to compare two policies, select the other policy and you can select policy A and policy B. And if you want to compare the revisions of a policy, suppose right now you created a policy over the time, some changes were made to it and you would like to compare the two versions of that specific policy, then you select the other version. You see, it asks you to select the policy and then select what revision you would like to compare about. Let's do two policy comparisons. I want to compare my initial health policy with my routed FTD health policy, which I just created. You see, so this is this policy, and then description, modified, applied to, and applied to thing. And then if we, I click on next. So these are the changes it is showing in terms of comparison. Let's click on comparison report. See, it downloads a PDF file. And in this file, there is not really much data. It just shows you in terms of comparison, like to what devices it is applied to, what's the name, etc. Okay, let me close this and let's perform a new comparison. And this time I want to compare the running policy, FMC initial health policy, with the routed FTD health policy. Okay. So this is again, when you compare the two policies, you get this similar stuff, nothing new. And if I choose other revision, and if I choose initial health policies, I select basically I selected the same revision, so there will be no changes. Okay, I'll go back here and let's make some changes to the initial health policy so that we can see them in the comparison. I'll edit the initial health policy And I will say, what should I say? I'll say monitor the CPU. I'll turn it on. I'll save the changes. Okay. Changes are now saved. I'll go back to the monitor and then I'll come back to the policy. And to on the two boxes, it's out of date. That is fine. But my aim was to compare the policy. Initial health policy here. Okay, I want to compare the same policy. So I would say other revision and initial health policy. So whatever was the version created on 22 against the version I created today. Yeah. So only thing it's showing, uh, I modified something and that's it. Applied to. I didn't change the applied to. I just modified something. Okay. Okay. Good thing. Let's try to go into the health monitor section and see what changes happen. If I click on there, see now you can see. Here, I have all the devices listed, okay? In order to determine their health, I click on Firewall Management Center and I can see critical processes. I can see all processes, the event capacity stuff, okay? And then every CPU, data collection for CPU modules is disabled in the health policy. And the memory, I'm seeing interface in and out rates, I'm seeing disk uses, critical partitions, and then if I click on processes, I can see the stuff here. Processes, memory use, CPU utilization, unexpected restart count. So there is a lot of information available in terms of these details about the FMC, but it's just whatever you are monitoring from the health policy. And if you click on here, view system and troubleshoot, then there is more information. You can see the LSP version, you can see SRU version, VDB version, geolocation version, and FMC version, and then the model, etc. You can generate troubleshooting files there from here, or you can do advanced troubleshooting stuff and it shows you health policy. You can also look at the health alerts of the box. Now let's click on the routed FTD because this is a different uh, thing from the FMC and we applied a new policy to. Here you have more options. You see overview option where you have disk uses, critical processes, all processes, and then the throughput of the box, CPU, and then you have memory stuff, memory used by data plane, snort, and system, and then you have a number of connections and the net translations. Then you have CPU information in here. You have memory interfaces, interface input output rate. So right now it's showing average of all interfaces, but you can just let me show you. Yeah, I'll just remove it and then you can choose a specific interface. Like I want to choose the management interface if anything is happening there, basically the diagnostic interface here. And let's see on outside interface, see we are seeing some activity present on the outside interface. So you can do this stuff, okay, this way. Still, so this is the green line is the input packet size and the blue line is the output uh packet size, okay, average output packet size. Now, input output errors, you can monitor a lot of stuff if there are overruns, underruns, what's the status of the interfaces, and then you can monitor the connections here. Any elephant flows are present, active connections. There is a lot of information in terms of health monitoring here. And you can even monitor the ASP drops. You see, ASP drops. The people who are familiar already with the AS system will be aware about this. So you can monitor the ASP drops as well from here. Now my FTD is still showing the critical. Okay. Now let's see why it is critical. Click here and it shows interface status. Interface gig 0 by 1 is not receiving any packets. Due to this, it is showing as red mark. Why interface 0 by 1 is not receiving any packets? Because this is on LAN side and my entire LAN side right now is powered down. That's why it's not receiving any traffic. I can exclude this, from the monitoring by changing the policy. Other than that, suppose you want it to refresh the health of the device, you can just click here run all and it will run all the health modules mentioned in the health policy and give you the latest results. You see when it was run 14th of July 12:34. So that's it regarding the health monitor and the health policy, and thank you for your time and I'll see you in the next video.